I first started doing it, it was really not only helping me see where my time was going, but holding me accountable to my time. I didn't want to see a bunch of farting around on social media on my time tracker, so I didn't fart around on social media as much. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, April 22nd. It is day 22 of Plan As You Go, where I show how I use my bullet journal, my Erin Condren, and my power sheets together in tandem for an entire month. I had my social media free weekend. It went really well. I got a lot done in terms of being around the house and just relaxing with my family. We did wind up working bingo on Saturday night. We had busy church day on Sunday. You know, all the things going on, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. But this week is going to be fucking busy. If you have not seen my Plan With Me style video that I put up yesterday, I will link it up in the cards. I mapped out my week in my Erin Condren, at least some of it, and I'm already a little frazzled. So it's going to be an intense week, but we got to get some shit done, right? All right, time to get my power sheets checked in. Beautiful. We got the social media free weekend in. I cooked with asparagus last night. God, it was really good. It's this same thing I've been doing, the shrimp with asparagus, but my kids love it, and I finally made enough of it. This week I'm doing one more asparagus recipe, and if that one works out, then we'll walk away with two we really like. Got our family planning time done, so I made quite a bit of progress on some of these things. This week, Jesse and I have already decided we got to figure out a day that I can meet him for lunch to go get the gym membership. So we have that on our radar. I just don't know what day that is yet. I got to talk to him, figure that out. I need to finish this receipt system this week and work on my presentation at Go Wild since it's next week. It's working out. We're working out. We're rolling right along. I might work more on the receipt system today, perhaps. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to leave this open. We'll see what happens when I plan out today in my Erin Condren. Chris Bonnell asked, do you plan on staying with the Erin Condren horizontal or do you plan on moving to a different version of a planner? I am pretty sure I'm sticking with the Erin Condren horizontal for my next planner. I had thought about maybe going back to the hourly or maybe the vertical or maybe trying something different, but I realized this is working for me. And the biggest reason I'd want to switch is to be able to fuck around with different stickers. And honestly, that's not a good enough reason for me. This is working okay with the things I am doing right now. And I just don't really feel the need to change for the sake of changing. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We'll see. The horizontal neutral is likely where it's at for the next academic year. So I don't have anything else to add to any of the other days this week, but I've already got this extensive list today. We have a thing at church tonight that we may go to. It depends. We'll see how I'm feeling. I've been feeling really shitty the last few days, so I may or may not do that. We'll see. I have a Patreon post to go out. I have the podcast for today to get edited and uploaded. I've decided to not prioritize it for this weekend because I wanted to spend time with my family. A Facebook post about that podcast, sending some emails, getting the stuff for the book club on Tuesday scheduled. And if you are a new subscriber and haven't seen the other book club stuff, there will be links for you in the new email going out tomorrow. And then a draft for a freelance project. The other thing I need to do today that's not on this list is I need to reverse engineer this big project. I know I need to work on it, but what I really need to do is take a look at my deadlines and get them kind of mapped out so that I really have like a roadmap to follow. And then I need to run laundry like it is nobody's business because my kids did laundry this weekend and the washing machine was occupied. And now my laundry pile is as tall as I am, even though I could swear to you that I stayed on top of it this last week. But it just keeps growing like fungus. There's not fungus on my clothes. I'm not that nasty. I could have probably fit more things there, but I don't want to. I was looking at my day and I realized this is about all I can do. And this is a full day. This does not account for me feeling like shit today. So we'll see what happens. This laundry thankfully can run as soon as I'm done editing the podcast and dealing with this video. I can run laundry. Even though it's in my garage, it is so loud and my garage is 20 feet from where I'm sitting. And my washing machine is not a quiet puppy. And so if I run laundry while I'm filming, often it gets picked up. So I have to wait until any recording is done and then I can run it while I am doing other work. And luckily dinner tonight's super fucking easy. Hot dogs and fruit salad because it's going to be nice and warm today. It's going to be how hot? 87 degrees. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, so there's my Erin Condren. Let's set that to the side and get my bullet journal set up for the week. Like I said, I have been feeling shitty. I took a painkiller again last night. I seriously feel like there is a big old cyst right under my rib that is really just either causing me discomfort, waiting to pop, or both. And it's both disconcerting because I worry that if it does pop, it's going to fuck up my life in the next few weeks. And also just really, really not great feeling. I want to take a second here before I move forward and just contemplate this. Next week when I fill out my power sheets, I have to decide what my veggie is, but I want to kind of think about it in advance because I'm going to need to start collecting vegetables on my Pinterest board or whatever recipes so that I can go into the year, the month, whatever the fuck the time is, with an idea of what I'm doing. I told the kids after the asparagus and the cauliflower months that we would pick a fruit maybe, especially since berries tend to be really nice in the May, June, July months of California. I'm thinking about going with blackberries. I'm not going to mark that yet. Oh, hi, Mark. I'm not going to mark that yet because it's not time to do that. I'm thinking about blackberries. I'm really warming to the idea of it because there's a restaurant here in town called Napa Sport. It's a sports steakhouse bar and grill type thing by my husband's work, and it has a blackberry glazed sausage appetizer, or it's like a big old hearty sausage glazed with blackberry, and then it's served with several different types of mustard, and holy shit, is it magnificent. If I could figure out how to make something like that at home, I would feel like a winner. Today's doodle challenge for SpongeBob is spot. That was pretty simple. And this was the other one from yesterday, the bubble bass. I have another question, my other question to answer for the day, which is from Krissyanne Potter, who asked, why did you stop time tracking? Did you just get bored of it? It wasn't that I got bored of it. It wasn't serving me anymore. Like, it wasn't doing anything. I found myself doing it for the sake of doing it and not actually learning anything new from it, which is something, when I first started doing it, it was really not only helping me see where my time was going, but holding me accountable to my time. I didn't want to see a bunch of farting around on social media on my time tracker, so I didn't fart around on social media as much. And then when I found myself just being kind of repetitive, which was boring, but it also just wasn't doing anything, I wasn't looking at it for analytics, I wasn't thinking about it in that sense, it really wasn't useful. So it didn't seem like something I needed to do anymore, so I stopped doing it. If I do it again, I may not do it in my bullet journal. I may do it electronically somehow to be a little bit more precise. So I really have my eye on those cubes. There is this situation that I've learned about. It's like a app plus this little situation that has different, you assign each side of the cube a different activity, whether it's like sleeping or working or whatever. And then you put it down when you start that activity, and then you move it to the next activity, and it automatically tracks it to an app, and you can download it to Excel, and that just sounds fancy as fuck to me. But it's like $100, I think, or something, plus at least when I looked at it before, it's like $100 or something plus the cost of the app, and I'm not sure I want to spend that much money on something. Of course, there could be something else, and let me know in the comments if you know something that might work for me that's not as expensive, that might be a gadgety thing, because that might make me more interested. I don't know. So I'm going to check this puppy off, social media free weekend, because I did that. Yes, I did. There are a couple of things I did not get done this week, though. I'm trying to figure out this. There's not enough of this left for May, but when I finish April, I may need to use this for some notes or something, because I don't think I want to start May in this bullet journal. There's not enough room. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I'm not going to finish it, but there's not enough room. So we got to think about that. Maybe I should do some memory keeping, 20 pages worth. My lettering for the day is Spanish dancer. Hold me closer, Spanish dancer. Really like how that turned out. I'm loving this top filled in situation that I've been working on lately. The thing I need to get done for sure is my Go Wild presentation, my top situation, and then I just got a bunch more that I want to pull from my April list, from the things that did not get done this week, and from my power sheets. One of the things I still have to get figured out is I've been making progress, and I need to go and check some things off because I didn't do that yet. The spring declutter that I planned out in my power sheets for my spring check-in, I've been making progress. I did this one, I did this one, I did this one, and I did this one. So what I need to do now is pick what I want to work on this week. Unsubscribing from emails is something I can work on as I'm doing my inbox all week, so that is something I want to put on my list. I want to just have by the end of this week feel like I've made progress and I can check that one off. And then I need to do my bedroom bookshelves, and I'm thinking maybe I'll do that on Sunday when I left to myself purposefully free time so I could decompress. Organizing my bookshelves always makes me feel good. So I'm not gonna put that in yet, but I will put it on my list to remind me that that's something I want to work on this week. And I think this is a very hearty list. I think that's everything I need to work on this week. I can always add to it later. For now, I think I'm going to leave it as this, and I'm going to go back. I think I have room to make today's to-do list. I didn't make one on Sunday. I had to get up. I was up late on Saturday night because I wasn't feeling good, and Sunday morning I had to get up early for a church thing, and I walked into church, and people could tell. I didn't even wear makeup. I put mascara on. That was it. This next weekend is going to be church heavy, but it's going to be exciting because our new minister is going to be here. She doesn't actually start until the fall, but she's coming to do a sermon and to meet heads of committees, and I'm head of the social justice committee, so I get some time to sit down with her, and I'm very excited. Those of you who have been following for a long time know that this has been a long road for us. That is so crooked. That is like extreme crookedness. I don't even care. I do care. I actually do care, but I don't care enough to care. Does that make sense? You know what? This isn't enough room. I know my day is going to be super full of bullshittery, and I just need some space. And I was just bitching about how I have too much empty room in this thing, so I should just live with it. And I'm having some issues, you guys. Anyway, those of you who have been following for any amount of time know that this minister situation has been really intense for us. So I'll give you some backstory for those of you while I'm doing this washi. I will give some backstory for those of you who weren't here a couple years ago when this all started. I'm a UU, go to Unitarian Universalist Church. When I started going like 5 years ago, whenever it was, we had a lovely, 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 lovely minister named Reverend Bonnie, who is to this day one of my favorite people. She is wonderful. She sang in my group back when we were a quintet instead of a quartet. You know, my kids loved her. My husband enjoyed her. Like, we all really, really loved her. She was a fantastic minister for our congregation, which is a smaller congregation. She was the first long-term minister our congregation had ever had. I was on the board of trustees of my church. It's a 3-year term, and for the first 2 years, I was board secretary. In the spring of 2017, I had said yes to being nominated to be president for my final year of my board term for the year. It's a church year that runs July through June, so July 2017 through June 2018. Part of the reason I felt comfortable saying yes, despite the fact that I am a younger member of our congregation, that I haven't been a UU as long as many people, and that although I've had experience being board president of a parent-teacher club at my kids' school, being the president of the board of trustees at a church is a little bit bigger than that. I was nervous, but I thought I would be a good president with a little help, and I hoped to have mentorship and some assistance from our minister, Bonnie, who I absolutely adored. I was about to go to New York for my first trip to see the New York City Planner Addicts, and then my husband and I were going to stay in New York for a week, and his mom was going to get married, all this other stuff. We were going away for a week. The night we were flying to New York on a red eye, I had a board meeting, and I wanted to be there at least for the beginning of the board meeting because we were going to vote on the budget for the following year, and I wanted to be there for that. And I told them I would be leaving as soon as we were done voting for the budget. Then I would be taking off, and one of the other members would finish my notes for me, and I could fly to New York on the red eye. I went to this board meeting, and at the board meeting, the bomb got dropped on us that our minister had gone into acute liver failure, and she was in a coma, and we didn't know what was going to happen. And we were all just like mind boggled. But I still had to leave the meeting. So I went home and I wanted to talk to my husband about it. But he's a diabetic, type 1, and his blood sugar had tanked and he wasn't feeling great. Or his blood sugar was super high. His blood sugar was all fucked up. He wound up throwing up on the drive to the airport. But I told him he couldn't miss the flight because his mom was getting married, and I couldn't miss the flight because I had a job to do. So we got to the airport, we got on the red eye, and I didn't tell him about our minister because he was too busy being stressed out, and I didn't want to give him more stress. I did tell him I spent that whole week frazzled. My minister did wind up getting a liver transplant, and her father, who was also a member of our congregation, died at the same time she was getting a liver transplant. It was rough. It was a really rough period of time. With all this going on, I was faced with the idea that I had already accepted the nomination to be the board president next year, and I didn't know what was going to be happening with our minister. And suddenly this new role that I was taking on was getting a lot more intense. The transplant was successful, and she comes back in the fall, is back for a month, and then realizes that she can't really do her job the way she wants to anymore. And so she told me that she was retiring at the end of October as board president. And I had to sit with that information before I could tell people about it. And that was really rough. The Sunday that she was in the pulpit after she sent the letters to everybody and announced it, so everybody was already really bummed out, was the Sunday the fires started in the Napa and Solano County in 2017. And we were out of power for 2 weeks. We had several members' homes burned down. And so in that time, I was trying to find us a temporary minister, manage all of these issues that were happening. And so the last 2 years, we've had a temporary minister, we've had a search committee. And I gave you all that context. I told you that story time, not because I thought that it was necessary for you to know all of our church's history, but to help you understand that it wasn't just me going through this as board president. It was our whole congregation, and we had a search committee, and we've hung together, but there has been loss and there has been stress, and we are all ready for the next chapter of our congregational life to start. And now that our excellent search committee has found a new minister that seems to be a really great fit for us, and we're all going to get to hang out with her this Sunday, that's why it's such a big deal to me. And I just wanted to explain that to you. And I hope that that was not too much churchy talk, but I wanted to give some context. If I might be stressed out this week with all the other bullshit I've got going on, that is absolutely going to be happening. I expect to be an asshole this week because I'm so stressed. But there's also this excitement this coming up weekend of getting to meet our new minister. And I'm just hoping I'm not putting too much on this because that might not be fair. Anyway, all that being said, I'm going to finish making my list. Okay, this probably could have fit in the other spot. Whatever, we already moved it. I would love to turn Chris's question back to you in kind of a different way. If you change in the academic year cycle, so June, July, your planners, what planner are you going to be using then? Otherwise, just tell me what planner you're using now. I know I ask this question periodically, but I always love to hear about it. Let me know what your planner system is in the comments below. And if you have any questions for my next video, please use the word question so I can find it. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in tomorrow's Plan As You Go video.